Leadership comes from the inside out. So many times we have the opportunity to be leaders. We're leaders as parents, as teachers, as friends and neighbors, on social media, even at church, or perhaps in our community. We're always leaders. And we're always have somebody watching. I want you to ponder this question. Are you the leader you would follow? I want you to really get in touch with that. Because what is that answer? Yes? No? Why? Or why not? Because significant change and significance is developed from the inside out. Go with me to June of 1995. My oldest son was diagnosed with a cancerous brain tumor. I had 4 children, 9, 7, 5, and 11 months. My son and I spent 180 nights in the hospital in less than a year. And I slept most of those nights in a wooden rocking chair. This was the most horrendous year that we had ever had. We couldn't imagine it to be any different or to be that difficult. And I had to ask myself, was I being the leader as a parent for my child? No, I wasn't. I was overwhelmed. I was tired. I was discouraged. I was scared and in fear for his life. I was watching the medical bills add up over and over, not knowing how I was ever going to dig ourselves out of this hole. I was allowing my circumstances to affect my attitude, my feelings, and how I was showing up. When have you allowed your circumstances to affect how you were showing up? Maybe affect your feelings and how you are doing your life. Maybe more often than we would like, right? So I decided that we were going to do this different. And on the way to the hospital, I told my son, it's going to be totally different than it's been. We're going to go straight to the gift shop, and we're going to buy a Mylar balloon. And then we're going to go room to room to find where that balloon belongs. He was almost 10, and he was like, that's lame. But we got to the hospital, and we went straight to the gift shop. And we bought a Mylar balloon. I had told him, you get to choose it. He was almost 10. He was all like, I'm going to show her, right? Is that what 10-year-old boys are like? Yeah, they want to be all in charge of this. So he picked a pink, congratulations, balloon. Pink. I was like, well, apparently we're going to visit girls. And we did. We visited a lot of kids that day, and we found her. She was 9 too. She had also had a brain tumor. Only she was on her last chemotherapy. She was having a party. There were about 50 people in this little tiny room, and they were having the best time of their life. She was done. She'd survived it. It was amazing. And we could tell that we could do things differently if we just would allow ourselves to. That wasn't the lesson that we learned that day, though. We visited a lot of kids, and do you know what we found? We found a child that would never leave the hospital alive. We found a little girl that would spend the rest of her life in a wheelchair. She would never walk again. And we found a little 7-year-old boy, just a little short little guy. He was from out of state, and he had to spend 21 days in the hospital a month. But his parents could only afford to fly in and miss work one long weekend in the middle. They'd come for about 4 days. This little boy spent 2 weeks a month in the hospital alone. We began doing this every single time because it changed us. Because we could take our focus off of ourselves and we could look at others and see where we could make a difference. We could be the leader we could follow. And it was amazing. I ask you this because to be that leader, sometimes we have to look deep within ourselves to really find what's going on and what we're doing. I was going to ask one person, how can you have this Mylar balloon? I'm going to choose you. What could you do different in your life to raise your leadership and be the leader you would follow?
More presence.
Wow. I'm going to give this to you.
Thank you.
I love that. More presence. We all need more presence. In fact, when we take a good look at ourselves, what we need to realize is that if we do not manage our challenges will manage us. How many of you have ever felt overwhelmed? By the raise of hands, pretty much everybody in the group here. Overwhelmed can feel like we have too much to do and there's all these things going on. Sometimes it can feel like chaos. But overwhelm isn't that we have too much to do. It's that we don't know where to start. We don't know where to begin to get past all of those things that are going on for us. I asked you in the beginning to ponder the question, are you the leader you would follow? And if your answer was not absolutely, how many did that? Maybe now you know where you could begin. Maybe now you know where you could start to create a difference for yourself. Because you're the one that has got to decide that it's going to be different. No one else can change you. We can influence people, we can motivate people, but only to a point. Real change comes from within. I want to leave you with this. Your decisions have the power to affect the outcome of your entire life. Is today the day that your decision becomes your defining moment? Thank you.